Hey everybody, it's Invert Panda from Universal GFX doing a quick 3D text tutorial here for you guys that I picked up on maybe I think it was about a year ago that I learned how to do this. And this is basically what it looks like. I mean, it's not hard to do at all. But first what we need to do, we need to get this diagonal line pattern first that you see on the text. So what you do, you go new, make it a 3 by 3, and make sure it's transparent. Transparent. Because if not, it'll screw everything up. But just trust me, make it transparent. You want to zoom this all the way in. Make sure this is set to your pencil tool. You can just right click there and go pencil. Make sure it's at a 1 diameter, 1 pixel diameter. Jesus. And you just click in the corner and in the middle and the opposite corner. I mean, you can start down here and then go up here. It's just all matter which way you want your lines to go. So then what you do, you go edit, define pattern. I'll just call it diagonal, and okay. You want to exit this. I mean, if you want to save it because you think it's a friggin' masterpiece, go ahead, but whatever, I'm not. Anyways, on to the text. You go new 1280 by 720. Just make it a white. I mean, it doesn't matter, we're going to fill it in with black anyways. It's not really a black. I'm going to fill that with black. And what you want to do, you want to make sure that's your brush tool. I get this set to a 650. It's a hardness of 0, so it's a nice soft brush. Then you want to pick a shade slightly above black. So when you just click here, say once or twice, get a little bit of gray there. Next, what you want to do is go to your text. And I'm going to use orange because, you know, orange on black looks pretty sick. I'm just going to say that now. You can put in your text, whatever you want. I'm going to use invert pen, obviously. Center that up a bit. Now, all we're going to do is just duplicate this layer like a shit ton of times, maybe like 15 or 20. So an easy way to do this is hold Alt and click left on your directional key. So you see about copy 15. I mean, it looks plenty good there. You're going to go into your first copy, not your original text, but your first copy, and go right up to the top. Hold Shift and click. And that'll select all the layers right on through. Hold Control and hit E, so it'll merge your layers. Next, you want to move that below your actual text layer, and just go to your top layer and stroke, or put a black stroke around it. I like to use 3 pixels because I mean, 2 isn't really enough, and 4 just looks a little bit, too thick. So 3 works perfect. And for here, you want to go to your bottom one and put an inner shadow onto it. You increase your size, you can play around with it a bit. I'm going to use about 100 actually. Just make it a bit darker looking, and the distance, put that up a bit so it kind of blends in a bit. I mean, that's all there is to it. There's your 3D text there. Now say you want to put the cool pattern effect that I had there, you do a pattern overlay on your top layer. I'm going to try to find where I got like 30 here from trying to do this tutorial like 6 times. Anyways, you just go diagonal line, and it's basically all there is to it. I mean, you zoom in a bit, you got your lines. I mean, you could space that as much as you want when you actually make the preset, but I think it looks perfect just like that. So next, you just select these 2 layers, merge 2 of them with Control E, and next I'm going to rotate this layer, so hit Control T, so you go free transform, hold Shift, and just click out around the corner a bit, so it'll rotate it a bit like that. I mean, holding Shift, what it does, it'll give you like set rotations, kind of like, you can go like 90, whatever, right? But I mean, if you don't have it down, you can rotate it freely. Whatever, I just use Shift anyways, it makes it a lot easier. So yeah, there's your 3D text. I mean, if you want to get the little line effect that I had going through it, just go to your pen tool, and you just make like a random wavy line through it. I'll just do this real quick in the interest of time for the tutorial. I'll just come down here. I mean, that's all there is to it, right? But make sure this is set to paths before you do anything, because I swear to God, every time I've tried to do this before, I had shape layers, and it gives you some retarded looking shapes. So just take my word and go with paths. And next, you want to go back to your brush. I mean, just set this to, say, I use a 3 pixel soft brush. So like this is the size it'll be. So once you do that, just select that and whatever. Go back to your pen tool. Right click and go stroke path, and make sure you have simulate pressure selected, and this says brush. Like, you can have everything else, but just leave it as brush. So what it'll do, it'll take whatever you have your brush set to and just go right along this path that you made with it. And if you simulate the pressure, it'll just taper off the ends a little bit. So once you do that, right click and delete your path, and there's your line. And I forgot to make that on a new layer. God damn. Hold on now. So make sure you make a new layer before you stroke the path. So once you do that, simulate pressure, whatever, you can delete your path, and there's your line. I mean, it looks like crap now, I know, but just give it a second. What you want to do is you want to duplicate that layer and move one layer below your text and have one on top. So it's almost like a little line sandwich, if you want to be really gay about it, you know. Anyways, go to your top layer and just whatever you don't want to be over the text, say you can have like a bit behind it and a bit over, just erase whatever you don't want over the text. And see, the purpose of having the layer behind it is, I mean, I can go right around this. It doesn't really affect it. I mean, I can erase this entire thing and it'll still be behind it. So basically, all this top layers is going to be in front of it, and you just erase whatever you don't want there, and everything else will just follow in on the bottom layer. Say if I, don't want the R there, I just get rid of that. Say the P. It'll come up behind the A and over that A. I mean, there's nothing to it. I mean, you could play around with a bit, whatever you want. And that's basically all there is to it. I mean, if you wanted to give it like a little glow or whatever, you can. You just double click the layer. It'll bring up your layer properties. You click outer glow. I'm going to use like a reddish color because, I mean, it just looks good with orange. Yeah, see, now where I had that erase just showing you guys, it's not going to show up there, obviously, but that's just demonstration. It doesn't really matter that much. So you put your glow, I mean, you could change the size of it, whatever. I'm going to use 8. I think that looks pretty good. But what you want to do, whatever you do to this layer, just copy the layer style and bring it down on your bottom layer too. See, that kind of makes up for there. I mean, it's not as bright as everything else, but just don't worry about it. This is just demonstration purposes. And I mean, that's all there is to it, really. I'm gonna erase this here because I think that looks kind of stupid. There, see, it's just behind it. It gives it a little bit of foreground and background to it. It's all there is to the text. I mean, if you want, you could put like little sparkles like I had on the other one. All you had to do is go back to your brush, click the little arrow, go reset brushes, and just click OK. Go down about halfway till you see a 14 pixel star brush. Click that. Come out of this and just go into your brush properties over here. Click Shade Dynamics. I'll leave this up for a second so you guys can copy it or whatever. Actually, you can pause the video and see it perfectly. And then you go Scattering. Make sure that's checked off. And what you want to do is put your scattering at max. Put your count jitter on max. Put your count at 1. Because I mean, if you start putting your count up, you get a lot more, and it starts looking, a little not spread out as much as it should. And make sure both axes is checked, because if not, it's just gonna spread it like horizontally, and that just kind of looks stupid. I mean, you want to have both like going up and over. So once you're done all that, just make your new layer. I already got that done, and just brush right along. I mean, you can follow the text, you can follow the line, you can do whatever you want. I mean, you could change the scattering over it if you really wanted to follow the line to set about 500. Gives you a bit more refined. But whatever, it's all personal preference what you want to do. I mean, and that's basically it. You want to put a glow to that, so almost like little sparks coming off it. You can, same way, double click the layer, outer glow, change it to like a reddish color. And I mean, that's about it for this tutorial. I mean, you can do other effects. I mean, make a layer behind everything. You can put some little abstract brushes or whatever you want to do. I got some like grunge vector or grunge abstract brushes or somewhere. I don't know where the hell they are now. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with this anyways. No, not those. Those are gross. Let's go with this one's I made in the. Yeah, let's just say go with like a grunge effect. You can just take it. Say you want it almost like a subtle grunge in the background. You can take it whatever. Just brush around it a bit. Make sure it's on black. Whatever, and just overlay it so like it didn't really do a whole lot because it's already black on gray. I mean, you can lower the opacity a bit just so it kind of so it fades out into it a bit. And I mean, that's your basic text. You can put whatever else you want. If you really want to do like the little screwed up lines I had there too, I mean, let's see, you can just go into something like this, put it as an orangish color, just put that like that, overlay it, play around with it, yeah. So I mean, that's the basic text tutorial. The main idea here was the text itself and the line going around it. So that's that tutorial, and I'm Invert Panda from Universal GFX. And let me know what other tutorials you guys would like to see in comments, or you can message me on my personal channel. It's on the Universal GFX page, or whatever. Just let us know what tutorials you guys want to see, and we'll do our best to make it possible for you guys. And that's all for today. So have fun with it.